Hi, welcome to Pearls of Motherhood. I'm your host, Tessie.
And I'm your host, Diana. Today, we're talking about something a little uncomfortable, but also super important our screen time. Not our kids, ours. So let's be honest. Most of us, we picked up our phones to escape the chaos for, a minute or 5 or 20. But have you ever looked up and seen your child staring at you and just waiting? Because I have. Or do they act out the moment you go to check a text message?
Yeah, we're not here to shame anyone because Lord knows that we're right there with you. And we this is why we can totally relate and do this topic. But today we want to gently explore like how those little moments of disconnection, what the research calls technoference, might be impacting our kids in ways we don't always see. So we'll talk about the science, share some honest mom moments, because we've all been there,
Mhm.
and offer simple ways to be more present without throwing your phone in a lake, which actually I would love to do sometimes.
Same, same. Or oncoming traffic or whatever.
Yeah. But first, let's do our mom facts and book corner.
So, mom facts. So, did you know that moms have superhero strength? It's real. So, in times of danger, there we all hear these stories of moms having lifted up cars or fighting off like a wild animal to protect their children. But there's actually a term for it, and it's called hysterical strength. And it's been documented in emergency situations. So, when a mom sees like a perceived danger, she gets this natural spike of adrenaline and other hormones. And what those hormones do, they divert the blood to your muscles. They decrease your pain response and they increase your heart rate. And so you have this incredible strength to do like lift off a car or fight off a bear, and you don't feel as much pain. So there was a woman in Florida who lifted a Chevy Impala off of her son um, after the jack that was lifting it up fell on him. And then in Indiana, there was a woman who shielded her child from a tornado. So she had a punctured lung, broken ribs, and crushed legs, but both she and her child survived it. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Moms are
That's,
amazing.
I mean, it totally makes sense. Yeah, we're so cool.
Like, wouldn't you do the same, like to shield your child or like fight off a bear or in your case, a mountain lion because you have mountain lions by you?
Yeah, I even like when I have this perception that like somebody is being like hurting my kid, even if it's not true, I feel like I do get like this like burst of just like extra strength where I'm going to like attack you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I could do that
Yeah.
and it just comes out of nowhere. It really does.
It really does. It really does. And it's like, and it's just, you think that they're just going to be hurt. Imagine they were actually hurt. But yeah, it's called hysterical strength.
Yeah. That's awesome. Another reason why moms are awesome.
Yes.
So in book corners today, we're talking Llama Llama Learns to Read. So the Llama Llama series, there's several books. I would say this is probably my favorite. I don't actually like all of the ones in the series, but like you, everybody's different, right? This one's probably my favorite because I like this one because it helps your kids learn to read. Like my kids, that they actually started learning to read stop when we would be driving and stuff because it's part of the book. And it's like a fun story and it's sweet, it's engaging, and it celebrates the magic of early literacy. And it's just like a fun book to read with your kids. They enjoy it. They're learning. You know, I'm all about books where you're also teaching and learning. I love like any ABC or counting book. I'm just all about that because I'm efficient, you know,
Hmm.
and it's like if I'm going to be reading to my kid, I want them to be like learning along the way, learning in the in the process.
It's like
We don't have time for messing
it's
around.
the ultimate mom hack, right?
Yeah, Yes, exactly. So, yeah, this book gently introduces the idea that learning to read takes time, takes patience, and it also takes practice. And so it's perfect for toddlers and preschoolers who's starting to notice letters and words around them. And the rhyming, of course, is so great. And the illustrations are cozy. So, I mean, I would just recommend it. I like this book and I would recommend it. I think we actually got it through the Imagination Library where I get like all my books.
I got her book, The Llama Llama Red Pajama, and my daughter was obsessed with that book. No joke, I think I read it 10 times a day when we first got it. And I still like it. I know that one's not really your favorite, but we do have several others. I don't know
Yeah.
the one Learns to Read. So I have to go find that one.
Oh,
I have to go find that one.
it's a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah, we have the red pajama one. I actually donated it though because I was reading it, my kids loved it too, and I was like, after a while I was over here like, wait a minute, like why is he always screaming for his mother at bedtime? Like, no, I don't want to put that in his brain.
That is a good point.
Because I go crazy like
Yep.
that.
Don't put the idea in their head and it'll be fine.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, you're going to Goodwill. Bye.
Whatever works. But yes, that sounds like a good book. I like that.
Yeah.
So here's a question for all of you out there. When do you notice screen time causing the biggest disconnect in your home? Just think about it. Tess, well, what do you think? Or do you want me to go first?
I can
Okay.
go. I mean, I definitely think that literally, even just having my phone in my presence, like where they can see it near me, like affects them.
Mhm.
I just think there is something about the phone that just triggers us as humans, not just our kids, because the same thing happens to me when my husband's like sitting there with his phone. We're all humans and they probably have the same feelings I do. I'm just like, I'm always making fun of my husband saying that he's addicted to his phone when here I am, the pot calling the kettle black. But it is so interesting the amount of emotions and even subconscious things that are brought up in us humans around these screens, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree. It is, I never thought of it that way, but it's true. I feel the same way when I see my husband on his phone. I'm like, get off of it. I'm right here. We're right here. But then I do the same thing. I pick up the phone in front of her. I'm such a hypocrite. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. I know.
It's a really good way to think about it. I didn't think of it that way. I was thinking of time of day type of thing, but because in the mornings when I'm mostly on my phone, that's when I notice it in my home because I'm making appointments, I'm making phone calls, everyone's awake. So that's when I'm mostly on my phone, and that's when she wants my attention the most because she's gone all night without, bugging me, even though I'm right next to her. But I never thought of the question that way of, hey, put yourself in their shoes. I love that.
Yeah. I think these devices are so disconnecting us as the human race to begin with. And I don't know if it's designed that way or if it just has happened that way, but I just feel it's so, and it's such a necessary evil though. I try to get rid of my phone. I would love to throw my phone in a lake and never see it again. But then 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh wait, I need to look up a recipe or I need to text somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so hard to actually disconnect from your phone. It's so hard.
It is. I try to put it on do not disturb or try to turn off my phone every so often. And at first it's really liberating, like, oh, this feels so good. And then I go, wait, what if something important happens? What if my husband texted me and I didn't get back to him? What if my mom needs me? And then I go and turn it back on, and then my daughter's mad at me again. So yeah, it's a give and take here in my house.
My husband and I are the only ones who have phones in our house. But we do have this rule, no phones at the table. And even my 2-year-old will say, no phones at the table.
Mhm.
Not that we take our phones to the table, but it's just something we're trying to. I mean, sometimes we do take our phones to the table. It's horrible, actually. I will do that in the morning
Mhm.
when they're eating breakfast or something and check the calendar and do that. And it's like, I don't know. It's probably better to establish really healthy boundaries. And I'm not even scrolling Facebook. Just imagine if I was also addicted to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's hard. I mean, I think we all can relate to this, right? So some of the research, there's been a lot of research done, and there's a term called technoference. And that's a study done in 2014. And they came up with this term by watching caregivers at a fast food restaurant. And they found that the caregivers who are really into their phones and not paying attention to their kids, the kids are acting out more. So they coined the term technoference when technology interrupts the parent-child connection. So when they're acting out, it's called technoference. I didn't know that. They also found that
Yeah.
frequent phone use, this is another study, that frequent phone use is linked to more behavior problems. So even small interruptions where you just check a message or check the weather, it adds up emotionally for the kids, and then they just let it go all at once. And my daughter does that. It makes sense. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to check the weather before we go out, or oh, what time is it? But every single time I touch my phone, her emotions get bigger and bigger and bigger until she releases them. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Wow. That's like super eye-opening, I feel like, for me, because honestly, after having 4 kids, you don't need a study to tell you this. It's so obvious. It's true. It really is true. The more often that I am on my phone, the more my kids are literally probably trying to compete
Mhm.
with the phone for my attention. Like it's an extra sibling or something, sibling rivalry.
Yeah.
And they really do. It's 100%
It's
true
like they
that
feel,
they do act up.
yeah, they feel like it's more important than they are, right? Do you think that? Like that's how they see
Yes,
it?
I could totally see that. That's how I feel when my mom comes to my house and then my kids are like, no, we don't want Granny to come over because she's always on her phone. And she legitimately is always on her phone. And, and then my dad, he didn't have a smartphone until I think it was like 2019. He didn't get a smartphone. Okay. So we had our first baby in 2017. He was so much more present for those 2 years with my first child. And now he has Facebook on his phone, and it has literally like taken over his brain. It's
Yeah.
awful. It's so bad. It's so bad to the point where he'll be sitting there with my kids and scrolling Facebook. And I do have to get on him and be like, what are you doing? Why are you scrolling? Aren't you here to visit the kids? Like, I don't get it, but it takes over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My husband does the same thing. So when he comes home, he plays video games on his phone. And I think that's a double black hole. Not only is it your phone, but now it's a video game that you're playing. And I fuss at him a lot. I'm like, hello, we're right here. Pay attention to us, or at least pay attention to her, because she's doing everything she can to get your attention. And then she gets fed up and comes to me instead. And then he gets sad, like, oh, baby doesn't want me anymore because you're not giving her attention.
Yeah, and having the video games on the phone is like a double whammy, because at least when it's on the television, that's kind of something maybe you could be doing together.
Mm-hmm.
They can be watching, and it's more disconnected from. But I do think the thing about the phones, at least this is how I feel when somebody around me is on their phone, it feels when we were growing up in the Stone Age, and someone was telling a secret, right? And you felt left out. And it just felt incredibly rude. And what's that word? Like where you're not being included.
Like you're disconnected.
And it just, yeah. And so I feel like that's what it feels like when you're around somebody who's on the phone. Like you don't know what they're doing on there. You don't know like the communication that's going on, and you just feel left out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily like, oh, what are they doing? And worried about it, but it's about like, they're doing something that they're not including you in right in front of your face. How messed up is
How
that?
rude. And, they're the perfect little size for just a personal viewing, right? Just for you. Just like you said, like if it's on the television, you can share it. That can be something that you can include with the whole family. But this is just for you. And honestly, if you get at a certain angle, there's a glare, so you can't really see what's going on. So it's it's like designed to be that way.
Yeah, I guess, and that's probably how kids feel when you think about it. It's like they probably feel like you're doing something and leaving them out. Of course, that's going to make them be like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm going to just go act out."
Yeah.
They don't do it consciously, I'm sure, but they're like, "Well, what's going on over there?"
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to what we always talk about is like positive reinforcement for our kids, positively get their attention. And now this is the negative reinforcement, because in order for them to get us off of our phones, they have to go break something or punch someone or do something really naughty.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And it works. Then we put down the phone so that we can discipline them or scold them or whatever, or if they hurt themselves, then you have to like run to them, the more dangerous things that they do.
Yeah,
that's really fascinating.
It is. But why do we reach for our phones? Because I do it. Honestly, it's because I need a break. I just want a break. I think because I'm overstimulated by what's going on, trying to keep her alive, that I'm like, I just need a moment of zen. And then the ironic thing is that then I watch something that's stimulating. That's so dumb. Instead of doing something calming, like meditation, I'd watch something even more stimulating. And that's so dumb. I never thought of it that way for me. I need to really reevaluate my my habits here.
Yeah, how's that working for you?
Not so great.
Does it work?
No, obviously not. I want to disconnect from the overstimulation, and I'm stimulating myself. So dumb.
You know what? You know what would be an interesting experiment is instead of picking up our phones for a week, if we just carried a book around and then just would sit there and read a book in front of our kids. And I wonder if we would get the same reaction. I think I'm going to do that.
I think that'd be a really good one.
And see.
That's a really good one. We should definitely try. Are you going to try it for a week?
Yeah, I'm going to try it for a week. Just carry around a book like I carry on my phone and just always constantly be reading it and see if they have the same reaction or if it's actually the phone with the screen and they know that that I'm communicating, and they're smart enough to know what's all on that phone.
It's really
even my 2-year-old.
It's really funny to see that. So when you say a book, do you mean like a book for us that we're interested in reading as adults, or something for the kids?
Yeah.
It's for us, right? Instead of a phone, we get a novel for us. Really funny that you mentioned that, because now I'm totally going to have to try this. I noticed that with my daughter a few weeks ago. She was totally mad at me for using the phone. So I put my phone down and I picked up a book for me. And she looked at me, and I just sat on the couch and read. And she went into her own little corner and just crafted on her own for 20 minutes. And for a 2.5-year-old, to me, that's a long time. But I felt so much better. And I'm watching her out of the corner of my eye, and she's watching me like, are you going to pick up your phone? But she only saw me on my book. And she didn't come over. She did her own thing for a good 20 minutes. So I'm totally going to have to try that experiment again.
Oh my gosh. I just got a great idea. Yeah. We should hide our phones behind a book. Let's invent a book that holds your phone.
What just popped into my head? Like this illustration of this like child.
So funny.
This illustration of like a child hiding a comic book in a textbook, sitting at school reading, like pretending he's reading his science textbook, who is really reading Superman. That's what I see in my head.
Oh my gosh. He was on to something. That kid was on to something. So brilliant.
I love it. We can have the shape of a phone cut out in the book itself, right? In the middle of the book. So you can quickly close it and not smush the phone.
Yes. Like one of those spy movies. Like, let's cut out a little space for our phone and carry a book everywhere. Oh my God, I'm loving this idea. Actually, I'm going to go home and I'm going to do
We
it.
should do a mock-up after this.
I mean, yeah, like, have you ever just imagine like the look on your, you've seen that look on your child's face when you're on your phone. What do you think they're feeling in that moment? Of course, however you would probably be feeling if it was your husband.
Well,
right?
Then the look on my face is like, why don't you love me? Well, pay attention to me. Hello, like that's, and I think that's pretty much what goes through her head, because her love language is quality time. We talked about that in our first episode this season, was love language. Her love language is quality time. So she's really hurt when I'm distracted. Like, she really gets her feelings hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have some like that too. And it's very noticeable, but that's like so interesting too, because my love language is definitely not even quality time, and it still bothers me like to no end. I'm just like, really? Your phone again? Phone box, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need it after 5 p.m. You don't need it, but I need mine, of course.
Right? Yep.
So bad. But I've tried the phone box before. Have you ever tried that?
No,
like,
because I don't have enough self-control.
Box, put the phones in. Mm-mm. Yeah.
No, because I'll just go.
I know. Well, it didn't last long.
How long did it last you?
No, yeah. I would say it lasted maybe a week. But like, I was like very adamant. We put our phones in the phone box like after dinner for bedtime routine and stuff like that, But sometimes this is bad though. We'll take the phones and put on music or something for the kids to listen to but they know the phone is there, even though you think you're doing a good thing, putting on lullabies or something on the phone. They think that the phone is so important. So anyway, we tried that it lasted a week. I lost my box. One of my kids took my box. Because I'm always like, living with 4 kids in the house is like living in a haunted house, because you put something there and then it never stays. And all of a sudden, like, things are like all over the house.
Like you have a little poltergeist somewhere, a really cute poltergeist running through. Especially, I bet you with food. I bet you with food especially, that just disappears.
Yes, things disappear, things grow legs, things are just like, it's not the same house that you went to bed in, and then you wake up and it's like, what?
So I know for me, it's a slippery slope. Even if I say, okay, I'm not going to text anyone, this is a do not disturb time for me and my baby girl, I'm just going to turn on some music on my phone. And then it's a slippery slope, because then I'm like, oh, I can just check one message real quick. And then it's not, of course, just one. It's all the messages. Oh, so it's a slippery slope for me, because I guess I need impulse control.
Yeah, that's true. Like, so what I had a really bad habit, I would like lay in bed and text my friends like late into the night, and we would just go on and on and on and on. And it just got to the point, I actually do this, where I do protect my sleep now more than ever. But my phone automatically goes on do not disturb at 9 p.m. And it doesn't come off till 7 a.m.
Same.
Like, doesn't matter if I'm awake. I don't touch it. I plug it in I plug it in the bathroom. I don't even have it near me. And I get so much more sleep. And yeah, I am not as connected with those friends as I want to be or as I used to be. But we have times where we can talk, It's like a balance, though. It does suck, because then you don't want to be on the phone texting during the day when you're with your kids. So I have lost friends. I'll have to say I have lost a lot of friends by doing that. But you got to protect your mental health somehow.
Yeah. My therapist always says you have to protect your sanity, whatever it takes. So, and it's also like we always say, this is just a season, right? Maybe this is just a time that we have to be more focused on our family. And then when the kids are a little bit older and going off and doing their thing and not needing us as much, we can talk to other moms or people that we've lost connection with, right? So maybe it's just it's like you said, it's about balance and protecting our sanity.
Yeah. And so I'm curious, when you take your daughter to the park, do you use your phone when you're at the park?
To take pictures, but not to text or anything, because I'm just terrified that she'll run off because she's a runner. So if I take my eyes off of her
Yeah.
for 2 seconds, she's like on the other end of the park. So
Yeah, same. Like I do not like being distracted at all at the
mm-mm.
park. So I like am never on my phone when we're at the park, which is very good too because you're outside, you're enjoying the nature, and you're also not on your
Mm-hmm.
phone. We spend a lot of time at the park because it's a good excuse.
What I notice I do is that I think that then I think I'm missing like a text message from my husband or someone important. So I keep on checking it. So what I've done is I actually take one AirPod and put it in my ear.
Mm.
And so it'll just Siri will tell me if I had a message or not. And then I don't actually focus on my phone so much because I know I'm not really missing anything on that. I can just focus on her.
Yes. That is like that. I can see that. I have an Apple Watch. I've talked about this before. And it's the benefit to it is you don't have to carry your phone all over with you to know what is going on your phone. But it's also like double-edged sword because then you are always know what's going on your phone, but that's kind of defeating the purpose.
Right. Again, it's balance.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah.
One thing I did try that does work for us is I now tell my daughter, okay, mommy has to make 2 phone calls. And she's okay with that. She'll eventually come over and say, mommy, are you done yet? But when I tell her what I'm doing and that there's a fixed number and she knows that it's going to end, she seems to take that better than an open-ended, okay, I'm just going to check my phone all the time and not pay attention to you. So that I discovered works for us.
That's fascinating. I feel that ties into what I mentioned earlier, how they just feel left out. Because whenever I do explain to my kids, like, oh, let me just send this quick text, or whenever I explain what I'm doing, let me check the weather, or I'm checking an email or whatever, it doesn't seem to affect them quite the same way because they know what I'm doing versus completely not knowing and feeling they're being left out of something that me and the phone are doing together.
Yeah, they have FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
It's all about communication.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
That's actually a good
It really
point.
is.
We've just solved all the world's problems right there.
We did. So we're going to create a book to hide our phones in.
And communication is the key to good relationships. Wow. Look at us. We're such geniuses.
We're brilliant. Leave it to moms to get it done.
Wow, if you're listening to this so that you can get something profound, I don't think we're the right ones. I guess we're not all that profound, right?
But we never marketed ourselves as profound, okay? That was never our thing. Just to be clear.
We're just dumb stay-at-home moms, right? Like, we don't know anything anyway.
And we're super bored.
We're making inventions, though.
Yeah. I think we should put that on a t-shirt. I'm a profound mom.
Yeah, watch for that on our website, pearlsofmotherhood.com. Yep. Check it out.
We will have...
And our prototype book. We should totally sell those.
I think for fun, we should definitely...
Hey, we might, actually.
We actually might.
This is not a bad idea.
If you can't tell, Tessie and I have a lot of fun here. We hope you guys are too, and just laughing with us or at us.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're doing, just as long as you're laughing. Please, we really hope that we entertain you, that we don't bore you.
Yeah. And let's talk about why do we reach for our phones to begin with? Let's be real. There's a reason. Mm-hmm. We're not just doing it, We don't just do it to ignore the kids. We're not it being oh, we just want to disclude you and ignore you,
Honestly, so I said that it's because I was overstimulated because I just want to break from her. And then I stab myself in the back by watching something that stimulates me. So that's just dumb. But also I miss talking to other adults. I miss talking to another adult because it's just me and her at home. My husband's at work. And that's the only way I talk to someone that I don't have to rhyme something with.
Yeah, no, that's the only reason that I'm on it too, is for just like adult conversation or communication. Like that's mainly why I'm on it,
Hmm.
is for that, So, because like I'm just hanging out with kids all day,
Hmm.
you know?
And you're rhyming things all the time or saying, don't do that or do this or because I said so. Sometimes I say that more often than I'm proud
Yeah.
of, but I miss saying other phrases and putting other words together in coherent sentences.
Yeah, and I hate texting, but at the same time, I feel like that's the only way I can really have a long communication with somebody because being on the phone is just when I do it, it's number one, it's frustrating because then you have to be almost multitasking and it's too distracting.
Yes.
Even when the kids are just there and they're not even being naughty or they're not acting up or they don't need anything, you're still on high alert,
Hmm.
and you can't really truly focus even on the phone conversation. So I feel like that's a majority of my screen time is texting because
Hmm.
it's just easier.
Same.
It actually kind of drives me nuts when somebody calls me anymore because I'm like,
Hmm.
really?
Same.
I have 4 kids. I don't have time to talk on the phone. Just send me a text.
Same. I that's how I feel too. So if you guys if anyone ever calls me, please excuse me. But I see it. I'm like, okay, do I have time for this? And I'm eyeing her out of the corner of my eye, like, okay, is she watching me? Is she good? I don't know, but I know as soon as I pick up this
Yeah.
call, she's gonna act out. So I prefer text messages
Yeah.
because it allows me to get back to a conversation in my time. I can actually
Yes.
give the person I'm talking to the attention that they
Yeah.
deserve.
Yeah. It's so true. It's so much easier. You can always tell when you're friends with somebody who doesn't have kids because they'll always call you.
Or they
You'll text them, they'll call you right
Mhm.
away. They're like, oh, they're on their phone. I'm going to call them. Like, no, it
No.
doesn't. No, that's not going to work.
Nope. Nope. Or they reply right away all the time. And they go, or if you don't reply
Yeah.
to them right away, they go, are you okay? Yeah, I'm just wrestling my toddler.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Just give me a moment, please.
Yeah. And plus, our phones are literally our lifeline. I take it to the park because I'm just like, what if I need to call 911? What if there's an emergency? What if I have to call my husband? What if he's trying to call me?
Hmm.
So that's a large reason why we're so attached to them is because of that.
Hmm. I completely agree because it's if I forget my phone, I go, I feel I'm so vulnerable.
Yes. Like, what if something bad happens and then you're just like, what do you do? I don't know. Like, what did moms do in the 50s? Maybe they didn't panic so much. There was like nothing they could do. I don't know.
I'm like, what if like there's a bear rampage? Like the other day I forgot my phone at home and then my brain just squirreled. What if there's a bear on the loose? I'm like, you live in a city, woman. There's no bear here. There's not even a zoo next to you. Like it's over the river. It's not getting here. And so it's
Worst case scenarios always in our head.
always, always. But a bear, like that literally floated into my head. I'm thinking, oh, you're so dumb. What are you thinking? A bear.
So during the day, what is your go-to reason, your main reason? Why do you pick up your phone during the
The
day?
mental break and adult connections for sure. That is 100% why those are 100% the reasons why I do it. It's double edged because then I want to recharge, but then she's trying to get my attention. So she's whining more and that saps me of even more energy. So it's like cyclical. It's
Yeah.
never ending. It's like the never ending story. It just feeds on each other. So I just get more and more
Yeah, that's
frustrated.
actually interesting. So you think you're doing something that's helping you, but really it's not actually helping you. It's doing the opposite.
Mm-hmm. How about for you? What is your go-to reason?
Mine is definitely texting. That's the main reason why. Or I actually do talk to my parents on the phone quite a bit, but really it's mostly
Mhm.
texting. Or I'll be looking something up on the internet or researching something or Basically the internet,
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT,
Yeah.
or just try to do something stimulating with my brain. I will turn on podcasts. I turn on a lot of podcasts, and that's like a big reason for me to turn on my phone.
Do your kids act differently if they hear you listening to a podcast?
Yes,
Are they
for
are they
sure.
better?
I have to put it in my
Oh,
ears.
okay. Full disclosure, moms, this is our second go around with this episode. We're trying to get through this. We're just like you.
I used to have, whenever I would put my phone on do not disturb, I used to, you know how you can sign certain people can come through, but nobody else can.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I used to have that. I used to do that, especially when I would like nap. And I would only have obviously just my husband or my parents. But then I swear like that was the only time my parents would ever text or call me when I was napping.
Same.
So I don't do that anymore.
I had to set a separate like nap time bypass for only my husband, because everyone else I'm like, oh, my siblings won't text me because it's the middle of the day and they're all working. No, that's actually when they find me. I have to go, no, I have to put a different setting on so only my husband can get through.
Yep, that's what you got to do, right? I just went to like full do not disturb. I'm like, I am not answering. I don't care who you are.
If you need me, ring the doorbell.
Me, you know where I live. Yeah, exactly. And if you don't know where I live, you don't need me that bad. Let's be real.
I am not your emergency contact then.
True.
So what would you call today's pearl of wisdom for today, or for our pearl of motherhood for today?
I think it was like an epiphany that we kind of both had, that I feel like our kids act out, and they act like that because they feel left out, and they,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they're human too. You know, we got to remember that, because like whatever feelings that we have when somebody that we want attention from is sitting there in front of us, just sitting on their phone, they're going to have those exact same feelings. So we have to just recognize that they're also like humans with the same emotions. So we, you know, cut them some slack, I guess, or actually have some empathy and understand like, this is exactly how I would probably feel. We obviously don't act like that, but because we know better, but they don't.
Well, hopefully we know better. Sometimes I'll admit, I wonder who is the toddler between me and her.
My husband might ask that question too.
But yeah, I think you're completely right. That is, I guess, our pearl of motherhood for today, is that kids are human too, and they have the same feelings that we have, only we theoretically handle it better than them. I love that.
All right. I think that obviously I have always thought this. I think that kids are way smarter than most people and most adults give them credit for.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so in tune. Like kids are super in tune with emotions and vibrations and like the energy in the room way more than adults, because they don't have all of that other stuff in their brain that distracts them from that. So we have to remember that they're like way more sensitive to, they can pick up on things, you know, like sixth sense type of things. I believe that anyways.
I agree with you that they don't have all the other stuff that we have, you know, what's for dinner, because that's taken care of by us, you know, things like, oh, we have to pay the bills, or hey, which tile should I pick out for my fireplace, or oh, I have to redo my landscaping, who am I going to call, type of thing. But so they are more in tune and smarter in a lot of ways than we give them credit for. And I guess we have to remember that our kids don't need a mom who's perfect. They just need us to be present, right? They want us to put down our phones and just play with them.
Yeah. I think it's okay for us to be like imperfect, for us to be distracted every now and then, for us to be on the phone, for us to do all of these things that we have tons of mom guilt over. But I think like the majority of the time, as long as we're being intentional with our motherhood, I think that's okay. You know, we don't have to do everything right the first time or perfectly.
Or the second or the third.
Yeah.
So I guess
Yes.
if you're feeling mom guilt, just let it go. It's okay. It's a gentle, like, hey, reminder for maybe we'll try again, a different way next time, but don't let it haunt you, which is honestly really hard for me. I have a lot of mom guilt all day, every day about everything. It's awful.
Oh my goodness. And you only have one. Just imagine
I
if you
know.
had four.
And this Mother Nature says she can only have one.
I know. You would go and you would do, I know, I do it all the time. I tell my husband, like, just the other day, I'm like, I shouldn't have opened my mouth at that exact moment when my son was like doing something, because it kind of killed his spirit. And I thought I was helping, but I wasn't. And like, of course I mom guilt. And he's like, you just gotta like cut yourself some slack, It's true.
I love your husband. He's the best. He's just so calm and collected.
I know, like nothing phases him. And then I tell him, like, oh, it must be nice. I worry about everything and you don't have to worry about anything. Like, it must be nice. I worry enough for both of us.
I once asked my husband, are you dead inside? Have you no feelings?
They're so laid back, right? Which is definitely good. There's very good aspects to that, but then it's like you do wonder, like, how can you go through life like that? Just be so laid back.
Or they're smart enough, and they're life goals, and they're smart enough. They know not to pick a fight with us anymore. Happy wife, happy life. I think our husbands, what they're thinking.
Yes, they definitely have embraced that. Both of our husbands. We gotta love them.
They're the best. They are the best.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a fun episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I hope you kind of like, not like maybe a wake up call for some of you, maybe just like something that maybe you already are intentional about this, but maybe just something to remind you, because it's easy to like fall into that, just getting into the routine and forgetting that like maybe it's not that good for you. But if you're feeling that tug, that sense that maybe your phone's pulling you away more than you'd like, you're definitely not alone. We're right there with you. We feel that tug, and we feel it's such a dichotomy, right? We've explained, we feel like it's so necessary, and yet at the same time we hate it. So we're all learning how to show up in this wild season of motherhood. So remember that it's not about being perfect. It's about looking up as often enough that your kids feel seen. So just make sure you're being intentional. And so thanks for being here with us today. If something in this episode resonated, share it with a friend, send us a DM, or just take a breath and be proud that you're doing the work. And we'll see you next time on Pearls of Motherhood.